So I was just going to create a poll here to see what people think, but I can't do that because I'm not cool enough. And they changed their restrictions ever since that day I went to confront the liberals when they claim Russia took over USA when we all know it was Israel like 80 years ago. And then Alex Jones showed up, and then as soon as I cut off the live feed to Alex Jones, him and his grandpa and brother and sister and children who own Google had changed the Google requirements or YouTube requirements for being live stream or anything else. So then magically I could no longer do live streaming when I'm interrogating and ambushing these terrorists. So yeah, you gotta look at it like that's actually awesome. I'm not gonna cry about that. I'm the only person in the world who has these terrorists on camera and has confronted them. I'm Superman. There's more people than Superman. Superman is technically one of their people. Like, if you look into the story of it, Marvel Comics, Superman, it's Google, it's Facebook, it's Mark Zuckerberg. Literally, they're trying to tell you the story of how Mark Zuckerberg and Superman's like the story of Jeffrey Epstein being a mild-mannered janitor, and then he becomes a hero of the world. It's literally him telling the story about himself. If you look it up and research it, which you probably can't because Jeffrey Epstein has censored his Google. So you're not allowed to look it up. Like, of course, the people on the media aren't going to allow you to know who owns the media. They're telling you China does, right? Kim Jong-un owns Facebook, and if you say any different, USA will have to come and chop your head off and execute you and your entire family and all your bloodline. That's what I was told the other day. And, from what I've seen, that makes perfect sense because that's how they are. So anyways, yeah, doing that stuff, I realize I can't post that little, what was it, poll I wanted to post. I don't even remember. It is a good video already, isn't it, though? Because I accidentally just said a whole bunch of stuff. And if anyone's new to this channel and hasn't watched or read like 9,000 hours of my writings, then you probably don't understand anything that I just said. And now I've said it, and you can either deny it or understand it. And I am the only one out here really talking about this, considering I met all these Nazis and stuff who instantly sold out their entire groups and their families and their children and their parents to I don't know, get famous, I assume, and get money. At least I'd sell out everyone I know because I got tired of their bullshit, right? It's like, that'd be the reason why I would sell out anyone around me. And I wouldn't, I've obviously not been paid for jack squat, so it's not called selling out. It's just called, disbanding, right? Yeah. It's called cutting off the loyalty supply. Like, I have a large loyalty caravan here. I'm riding through town with my loyalty caravan, and everyone wants to hop on the loyalty caravan because they're like, ooh, it's so cool and cute and trendy. And then some people, I gotta be like, get off. And some people are like, no, I like this. You've got pictures of elephants on your caravan, and I like elephants, so I'm gonna stay on the caravan. And then you're like, no, get off. And they're like, no, I really like elephants, I love you. And then you're like, no, get off. And they're like, no, I love you, do you want to marry me? Like, I like elephants. And you're like, okay, now we're gonna have to physically remove you from the caravan. And then, that's how that happens. There was no real disloyalty for me. In fact, there's too much loyalty. So when it happens that way, never let anyone tell you anything different about how much loyalty I offered them versus their lack of loyalty they've offered me. Everyone's been put through a gambit to make sure that I'm not incorrect, unless they're people who I haven't seen in a few years. And then I have to assume, because 2% out of 98% of people I've met, if you know anything about math, which most people don't, and I'm not saying that to like offend people, I understand. Like, I know math, and I was one of the advanced students, so I could read the math scores, and I understood I'm called this 2 percentile. So I understand, like, not everyone needs to know math. Some people know how to put engines and transmissions together, and those people are fucking awesome. And people who know how to bore engines might only know a small percentage of basic math, radius and diameter, circumference. And hopefully they understand how to work heavy machinery more than anything. I don't ever since I learned this stuff, I didn't even think it was any value. I never looked at it like it was, but I understand people don't understand that. But what that means, if you have a 98 percentage versus a 2% percentage, that means the 98% is considered finalized in science. Let's move on from math. We're moving to science. See, even worse, we're moving from math to science. In science, when you do an experiment, if you have a 98% on your test, then that's how gravity works. Gravity works in 98% of situations. Your feet stay on the ground, and you fall to the ground, and you can't jump 90,000 feet into the air because there's this 98% chance that gravity exists, right? And when you hit the gas pedal in your car, there's this 98% chance that the gas is going to go. And I run cars hard. I run cars into the ground. There's 2% chance when you flutter the gas pedal that it doesn't go. Which is a good thing, because when they force injected me at the end of 2019, my foot started going like this, and that's my gas pedal foot. So, I got used to driving a stick shift for like a few months when I was a child, and even when you're not driving stick shift, everyone tells you you don't drive with 2 feet. Like, right? If you're in USA, and if you drive stick shift, like the left foot is your clutch and then your brake. So I keeps telling you guys I'm stupid. I don't know anything. So when that was twitching like that, right? I was lucky that my the computer on board of my Cadillac understood that I'm not that I'm just a retard. Going into convulsions. Somehow it was programmed to understand that, and not that I'm just trying to go brr, 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 brr. Because technically, if I have an F1 car, I would be like blah, 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 blah. I would drive like that, and I have driven like that before, and other cars respond to that, but that one didn't. So, there's things you do, and they work. They work how they were told they work. And then they try to tell me they work that way because that's how we think they work. And this delusional nonsense. And then they show you like a magic card trick where they pull a quarter behind your ear, and they're like, oh. And you're like, how did you find a quarter behind my ear? And they're like, because it's magic, and that's how the trick works, right? And these are literally the same people telling you everything else. So the people telling you that stuff works, gravity and all that stuff and all that nonsense, and censoring the media and everything else. They're the ones also who are in charge of, like Harry Houdini, David Copperfield, Jesus. They're the ones in charge of pulling quarters out behind your ears when you know you don't have a quarter behind your ear. And yeah, probably went off topic here, but that's okay because the video is actually probably different than some of the usual nonsense I posted. But do remember, I am the one who posted the documentary and the layout on all the magicians of the world, from Houdini to Copperfield to Jesus to everyone else, David Blaine, blah, blah, blah. So that was my specialty when I was a child. Like, it might sound like I know some other stuff, but when I was a child, I wanted to know magic. And I was told it didn't exist, and these other fraud illusionists were the only thing there was. But at the same time, these days, I wonder if they weren't using the real magic to save their asses when they accidentally were about to kill themselves or not pull off the trick properly. Like Houdini. He said magic doesn't exist, it's illusions. It's like, yeah, well, if you're one of them, then you probably understand how to not suffocate and drown yourself and call upon the power of Cthulhu or whatever it is. Satan, Lucifer, Yahweh, the giant bunny. The giant bunny's coming in April. Giant bunny god. And then the flying, invisible, glow-in-the-dark reindeer god just came in December. So I'm still trying to figure out which one it is that they pray to for the best benefit. I gotta say, like, some serious stuff happened in this world when I first noticed it, when I started drawing, like, huge pentagrams in the middle of my front yard. I posted some pics of that. I just used a whole front yard as a pentagram. And then, like, the next day, like, half the city was flooded or something. And, like, everyone's car and house was destroyed. I didn't really understand it at that point in time. But I don't think any of that's necessary because some of this stuff has happened without me drawing pentagrams or crosses or... I don't even, there's so many of these delusional nonsense things people talk about. I haven't even worked with the pagan stuff. Supposedly I can control thunder eventually. But hey, supposedly that volcanic eruption that happened recently 2 hours after I asked for it to, supposedly that had like some of the world's most massive freaking lightning in it. But I had asked for that a lot before, and it didn't happen. But then they showed me some videos. They showed me some information saying, like, the atmosphere and the environment has to be proper for lightning to exist in that section of the world. And they're, like, trying to explain through science to me how lightning, it comes to fruition and stuff. And I'm just like, well, if we can do this at all, we can do this anywhere. We don't need, like, faults in the world. We don't need static electricity building up in the sky without a bunch of moisture. And hell, we don't need a bunch of clouds in the sky to flood the planet, do we? Because if we can just make it happen, then there's got to be something else going on. And plus all the other things I've seen. But yeah. It's kind of nice when I go off topic of the video because I get generic and repetitive, and to be honest, I don't know what I've uploaded the past 2 years because my videos, the first year, I was more concerned with like the groups and the people following me than I was, I'm sorry, more than I was concerned with caring about you guys and your entertainment at home. I was more, or your knowledge and learning, which is the important part. How much of this shit do I do for entertainment? None of it. Even the guitar playing was to like bait people into learning, into seeing the knowledge and stuff. Sorry. Whoa, I'm evil. I'm baiting you. I'm baiting you with good freaking music. Fucking anyways, I just figured I'd show people I could offer more than one little delusional fucking activity. But yeah, that year, I just couldn't upload because of my data. And yeah, I mean, there's just so much stuff going on this year. That year, I don't even remember it. I'm still like remembering stuff, and I'm trying to erase it from my memory too. So that's not cool. It like seriously not cool what I had to experience that year. Um, I don't think anyone's ever experienced what I did that year. It was kind of like getting your neck choked out while your head was getting beat in with a sledgehammer, while you were being told it was your fault that it was happening and that you can stop it at any time because you're in control, but you decide not to, and then you're thinking like, okay, well, let's stop it, and then it doesn't stop, or it does stop for a few seconds, and then it magically starts up again. Yeah, I'm not going to try to explain that shit to you guys. But anyways, yeah, the fucking take what you can from this video. I'm just a retard. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Obviously, I've not been anywhere, and I don't know anything. And they probably deleted like one fifth of my important videos. So I guess if you just look at my videos, it probably makes sense. And I'm just a retard. I don't know what I'm talking about. There's nothing going on. I must have smoked too much kerosene. I've been smoking kerosene, y'all. The crack didn't do it. The coke I snorted didn't do it. The acid I took didn't do it. The mushrooms I took didn't do it. The weed I've been smoking for decades straight didn't do it. The alcohol definitely didn't do it because alcohol doesn't do jack squat. Do I even sound like I'm drunk right now? Because a normal person would be freaking passed out on the floor puking right now. The opiates didn't do it because a normal person would be passed out on the floor, freaking being taken to the hospital right now. So I'm obviously smoking kerosene at this point, and I can tell you that was some sort of extract when I started bleeding out of all these holes in my body, like that. That wasn't trying to get high. That was like a unfortunate side effect that my memory started getting erased. When I took that stuff, it was to kill myself, not to get high. But it was like a cool little side effect, I guess. If I can't die, erasing my memory is a cool little side effect. Although I really fucking hate having these fucking holes all over my body now. And hell, I hate having them because they remind me of everything I'm trying to forget, which is odd because like the effect of this poison I took was to erase my memory, but then the holes it put in my body that were leaking blood, the gross. I'm sorry, they weren't holes at first; they were gross, and then they degraded into holes. Now the freaking holes all over my body remind me of that stuff, and it's like, oh, it's like a total waste of time. I'm not dead. The the memory was erased for like a few days or weeks of everything, and there's still like a lot of stuff I don't remember, which is cool. Like I wish it would all go away, but it doesn't, and it slowly started to come back. But the scars continually remind me of why I made those scars appear. And then remembering that reminds me of every fucking thing I was trying to erase. And so, obviously, it didn't erase jack squat. It just made me feel freaking high for a few days and shit while it made me bleed out. Or a few weeks, months, however long I did that. And then now I remember, if I keep thinking about that, I remember it all, right? As long as I don't take like 5 other drugs to fucking chop my brain up, I can start to remember some of that. So, yeah. Anyways, have a good day, y'all. Eat your tea and crumpets. And, man, I feel really fucking trapped here.